Failures build greatness. Think about that for a second. How many times have you been told that failure is the end of the road, a sign that you're not good enough, or that you've reached your limit? But what if I told you that's a lie? What if I told you that your failures, every misstep, every regret, are actually the building blocks of greatness? This is where the Japanese philosophy of Hansei steps in. Hansei isn't just about looking back at your mistakes. It's about embracing them, learning from them, and using them to propel yourself forward. It's a practice of reflection so powerful that it's fueled some of the most successful individuals and organizations in history. In this video, we're going to unlock the secrets of Hansei with 10 transformative lessons. Lessons that will teach you how to face failure head-on, turn regret into resolve, and grow stronger with every challenge you face. But before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment of this journey to greatness. Let's get started. Lesson 1. Recognize mistakes without guilt. Mistakes, they're the one thing everyone fears, yet everyone makes. But here's the twist. Mistakes aren't the villains we make them out to be. They're teachers, disguised as failures. And the first step toward harnessing their wisdom? Recognizing them without guilt. Simple, right? Well, not quite. Think about this. How often do we spend hours replaying our mistakes in our minds, only to feel even worse? Here's the catch: self-blame doesn't fix the problem. It only buries us deeper. Recognizing a mistake doesn't mean punishing yourself. It means pausing and acknowledging, yes, this happened, and it's okay. Take Sarah, for example. She missed a major deadline at work because she underestimated how much time the project needed. Instead of drowning in guilt, she paused, admitted her oversight to her team, and asked herself, what can I learn from this? The result? A plan to break future projects into smaller, manageable steps. No guilt required. Here's something you can try. The next time you mess up, write it down. Literally, grab a notebook and jot down what happened. Then, instead of listing why it was terrible, ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do differently next time? You'll be amazed at how freeing it feels to move from guilt to growth. But here's the thing, recognizing mistakes is only the beginning. What comes next is digging deeper, uncovering the roots of the problem. And that's where things get really interesting. Lesson 2. Analyze the causes of your mistakes. Recognizing a mistake is a strong start, but stopping there? That's like noticing smoke and ignoring the fire. To truly learn and grow, you've got to dig deeper. What caused the mistake in the first place? This isn't about pointing fingers, even at yourself. It's about understanding the why behind the what. Imagine this. You're late to an important meeting. Again. Sure, you can chalk it up to bad traffic, but is that the real reason? Maybe you hit snooze one too many times, underestimated your commute, or didn't check the route ahead of time. Analyzing the cause reveals patterns, and patterns, my friend, are what keep mistakes alive. Take a moment to reflect on this. Have you ever said, "This won't happen again," only to repeat the same mistake later? That's what happens when you skip this step. But when you identify the real cause, you gain the power to break the cycle. Here's a practical exercise. After your next misstep, sit down with 3 questions. 1. What happened? Be honest but not harsh. 2. Why did it happen? Keep digging until you hit the root cause. 3. What can I do to prevent it next time? This question sets you up for success. For example, if you missed a workout, was it because you were too busy, or did you fail to schedule it into your day? The fix might be as simple as setting a morning alarm or prepping your gym clothes the night before. By understanding the causes of your mistakes, you don't just solve them, you prevent them from becoming your future. And with that clarity, you're ready for the next step, turning these insights into actionable lessons. Lesson 3. Transform mistakes into learning opportunities. Reflection without action is like having a map but never taking the first step. Once you've learned from your mistakes, the next crucial move is to define what you're going to do differently. This step is all about taking the wisdom you've gained and turning it into concrete, actionable steps. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'll do better next time," but never defined how? That's where people get stuck. Improvement needs direction, and direction comes from setting clear, specific actions. For example, if you realize that procrastination caused you to miss a deadline, what can you do differently? Maybe it's setting mini deadlines throughout the week or using a timer to work in focused intervals. Tools like the Pomodoro technique or even simple to-do lists can help turn vague intentions into measurable steps. Let's take another example. If you've been struggling with communication at work, ask yourself what small change could improve it. Perhaps it's scheduling weekly check-ins with your team or practicing active listening in meetings. Specific actions lead to measurable progress. A good exercise here is to create an action blueprint. For every mistake, right? 1. The lesson learned. 2. A clear action step to avoid repeating it. 3. The timeline to implement the change. Action is where theory meets reality, and it's the only way to ensure you're not stuck in a cycle of repeating mistakes. But don't worry, this isn't about perfection. It's about progress. And progress becomes unstoppable when you make reflection a habit. That's where we're headed next, establishing a consistent practice of self-reflection. Lesson 4. Define clear actions to improve. Here's the thing about mistakes, they're inevitable. But what separates those who thrive from those who stumble endlessly is what they do with those mistakes. A mistake is like a rough stone. With the right mindset, it can be polished into something valuable. That's the essence of growth. Think of Thomas Edison. When asked about his failures while inventing the light bulb, he famously said, "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the perfect example of turning mistakes into learning opportunities. For every misstep, there's a lesson waiting to be uncovered. So, how do you apply this in your own life? Start small. Say you burn dinner while trying out a new recipe. Instead of tossing the idea of cooking altogether, ask yourself, was the heat too high? Did I leave it unattended for too long? The next time you cook, you'll know exactly what not to do, and that's progress. Here's a practical tip. Create a lessons learned journal. Every time you mess up, write down 1. The mistake you made. 2. What you learned from it. 3. How you'll approach a similar situation differently next time. This practice rewires your brain to view errors as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. The beauty of transforming mistakes into lessons is that it doesn't just help you move forward. It builds resilience. Each lesson you learn becomes a tool in your kit, ready to tackle future challenges. And once you've gathered these lessons, it's time to put them into action. Lesson 5. Establish a routine of self-reflection. Self-reflection isn't a one-time thing. It's a habit. Think of it like brushing your teeth, something you do regularly to keep things clean and healthy. Without consistent reflection, it's easy to fall back into old patterns, repeating mistakes instead of learning from them. The key to lasting growth is making reflection a natural part of your life. Picture this. At the end of each day, you take just 5 minutes to sit quietly and think. What went well today? What didn't? What could you do differently tomorrow? That small, intentional pause can make a world of difference. It's not about dwelling on the negatives. It's about recalibrating and moving forward. Take journaling, for example. Keeping a journal dedicated to self-reflection allows you to track your progress over time. Write down your daily wins, struggles, and what you've learned. Over weeks and months, you'll start noticing patterns, what triggers mistakes, what drives success, and how you're evolving. Or if journaling isn't your thing, use technology. Apps like Reflectly or even a simple notes app on your phone can help you record quick thoughts and insights. The tool doesn't matter, the consistency does. Think of this routine as a mirror for your inner world. The more regularly you check in, the clearer your path forward becomes. And this practice doesn't just benefit you, it also transforms the way you interact with others, which is where we're heading next. Lesson 6. Practice humility when facing criticism. Criticism. It's a tough pill to swallow, isn't it? But here's the thing. It's one of the most valuable tools for growth, if you approach it with humility. The truth is no one's perfect, and that's okay. What matters is how you respond when someone points out a flaw or offers feedback. Humility doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It means recognizing that there's always room to grow and that others can see things you might have missed. Think of criticism as a flashlight shining on areas you couldn't see in the dark. Without it, you might stay stuck in the same blind spots forever. Take this as an example. You're at work, and your manager says your presentation lacks structure. It's tempting to get defensive, isn't it? But instead, what if you said, "Thank you for pointing that out. Could you help me understand what I could improve?" That one question turns criticism into a lesson. Here's a practical tip. When receiving criticism, pause before reacting. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Is this feedback constructive? 2. Is there truth in it, even if it stings? 3. How can I use this to improve? And don't forget to seek feedback proactively. Ask your peers, mentors, or even family members, what's one thing you think I could do better? It might feel awkward at first, but the insights you gain will be invaluable. Humility in this context is a superpower. It keeps you grounded, open to learning, and ready to improve. And this mindset isn't just about personal growth, it can transform your relationships too. Let's explore that next. Lesson 7. Use Hansei to strengthen relationships. Relationships are the cornerstone of a meaningful life, but let's be real. They're not always smooth sailing. Misunderstandings, disagreements, and unspoken frustrations can create cracks over time. That's where Hansei steps in. When you bring self-reflection into your interactions with others, those cracks become opportunities to build stronger, more authentic connections. Think about the last time you had an argument with a friend or a loved one. Maybe things got heated, and you said something you regretted. Instead of brushing it off or blaming the other person, Hansei asks you to look inward. What triggered your reaction? Could you have responded differently? By reflecting on your role in the situation, you pave the way for healthier communication. Here's an actionable exercise. After any significant interaction, good or bad, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What went well in that exchange? 2. What could have gone better? 3. How can I improve how I handle similar situations in the future? For example, let's say you interrupted someone during a conversation. Reflecting later, you realize it's a habit born out of eagerness to share your thoughts. Next time, you can make a conscious effort to pause, listen fully, and let the other person finish speaking. These small changes, rooted in self-awareness, can have a huge impact on your relationships. Remember, Hansei isn't about perfection. It's about intention. When you consistently reflect on how you interact with others, you show them that you value and respect the relationship. And when reflection becomes a collective practice, it can even elevate teamwork, which leads us to the next powerful application of Hansei. Lesson 8. Incorporate Hansei into teamwork. Teamwork is where Hansei truly shines. Why? Because no matter how skilled or capable you are, collaboration is about syncing efforts with others, and that's where challenges often arise. Miscommunications, overlapping roles, or missed deadlines can derail a team's progress. But with Hansei, these hurdles become stepping stones towards stronger collaboration. Think of a team project that didn't go as planned. Maybe the result wasn't what you'd envisioned, or tensions ran high along the way. Instead of assigning blame, Hansei encourages the entire group to reflect together. What worked? What didn't? What changes can you all make moving forward? A great example is the Toyota production system, where regular team Hansei sessions are a cornerstone. After every project or task, the team gathers to openly discuss mistakes and successes. The focus isn't on who messed up, but on how the process can be improved. This culture of collective reflection leads to constant growth and innovation. You can adopt this practice with your own team. At the end of a project, hold a short debriefing session. Use questions like 1. What did we achieve and how did we do it? 2. Where did we encounter challenges and why? 3. What can we do differently next time to improve outcomes? These sessions build trust, transparency, and a sense of shared responsibility. Over time, you'll notice how they foster a more cohesive and motivated team. And the best part, the improvements you make as a team will spill over into individual growth as well. But teamwork isn't just about big wins. It's about celebrating progress, no matter how small. Let's dig into that next. Lesson 9. Celebrate small wins. Here's a secret. Progress doesn't always come in giant leaps. Sometimes, it's the tiny incremental steps that lead to the biggest transformations. That's why celebrating small wins is such a vital part of Hansei. Reflection isn't just about identifying what went wrong. It's also about acknowledging what went right. Imagine you're trying to build a healthier lifestyle. You hit the gym twice this week instead of your usual 0. That's progress. Sure, it's not a complete overhaul, but it's a step in the right direction, and steps, no matter how small, deserve recognition. Celebrating wins doesn't mean throwing a party for every little thing. It's about taking a moment to appreciate your effort and reinforcing the habit of growth. For example, after completing a task that challenged you, give yourself a reward. Maybe your favorite treat, a break to watch a show you love, or simply a pat on the back. Positive reinforcement keeps the momentum going. This also applies to teams. Let's say your group solved the problem faster than expected. Take a moment in your next meeting to acknowledge the effort. It could be as simple as saying, "Great work on handling that so efficiently." Small celebrations boost morale and encourage everyone to keep striving for improvement. Here's a practical tip. Create a win log. At the end of each day, jot down one thing, big or small, that went well. Over time, this habit trains your mind to focus on progress, even when challenges arise. Recognizing these moments isn't just about feeling good. It sets the stage for tackling even bigger challenges. And with modern-day complexities piling up, Hansei has one more crucial role to play, helping you adapt to today's unique challenges. Lesson 10. Adapt Hansei to modern challenges. Life today moves fast. Emails flood your inbox, deadlines loom, and there's always one more thing to check off the to-do list. It's easy to get caught up in the chaos, but that's precisely why Hansei is more relevant than ever. Reflection isn't just for ancient philosophers or corporate strategies. It's a tool you can adapt to thrive in the modern world. Take time management, for example. Ever feel like there just aren't enough hours in the day? Hansei can help you pinpoint where your time is slipping away. Maybe you're spending too much time scrolling on social media or juggling too many tasks at once. A simple daily reflection, what did I accomplish today and what could I do more efficiently tomorrow, can make all the difference. Or consider digital overwhelm. We live in a world where notifications and distractions are constant. Practicing Hansei might mean asking yourself, what's adding value to my day and what's just noise? The answers could lead to actions like turning off unnecessary alerts or setting phone-free hours to focus on what truly matters. Even emotional well-being benefits from this practice. If you find yourself feeling stressed or stretched too thin, a moment of reflection can help you identify the source and take proactive steps. Maybe it's delegating tasks at work or carving out 10 minutes a day for mindfulness. Hansei isn't about making life perfect. It's about making life intentional. By adapting this timeless practice to today's challenges, you stay grounded, focused, and better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. And with that, the journey of self-reflection continues, opening doors to growth you didn't know were possible. So, what's stopping you? Every mistake you've ever made is a chance to improve, every reflection a chance to grow, and every small step forward proof that you're capable of so much more. The question is, are you ready to embrace the challenge? Think about the lessons we explored today, recognizing your mistakes without guilt, analyzing their root causes, and turning them into actionable improvements. Have you taken a moment recently to reflect on your day, your decisions, or even your relationships? What if that simple act of Hansei could unlock the clarity and growth you've been searching for? Here's my challenge for you. Tonight, spend 5 minutes reflecting on one thing you could have done differently today. What did you learn? What's your next step? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your journey. And if you're as inspired by Hansei as I am, take it further. Check out Masaki Imai's book Kaizen, The Key to Japan's Competitive Success. It's an absolute game changer, and it's super affordable on Amazon. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next deep dive into timeless wisdom. Speaking of which, click on this card to continue your journey and learn even more ways to transform your life. See you there.